Hello, welcome to Passports International and welcome to Geneva. Well, Geneva's the show where in the springtime all new cars come. This year it's Ford's new Fiesta, a car that we're going to be seeing on the circuits during the course of the year, and several other new cars as well. But let's go down and see what's happening over here in Switzerland.
For most motorists in Europe, the main attraction of the Geneva show is the world debut of the new Ford Fiesta. 500,000 versions of this small hatchback will be built this year alone in England, West Germany and Spain. The 1989 Fiesta goes on sale throughout Europe in April, but buyers will have to wait until later in the year for the high-performance XR2 injection and a Fiesta Turbo. Seen at speed from the air on a test run in West Germany, the new Fiesta has a smoother shape than its predecessor. Soft shoulders replace the sharp-edged profile of the previous model. Fiesta is now offered with an option of 3 or 5 doors, diesel or petrol engines, from 1 to 1.8 litres, anti-lock brakes, and a new automatic transmission produced in France, where Ford have invested $125 million in a special plant at Bordeaux. Before launching their new baby, Ford gave the Fiesta to 250 of their high-mileage customers to try out over 1 million kilometers of everyday motoring. Did they have any criticisms?
Well before public introduction, we selected 250 high-mileage drivers to take the vehicles and tell us what they liked and disliked about the products. And what we found were we were able to make some late changes in suspension, to modify the engine timing, and to make some changes that we would have made possibly months after our initial production. And this actually will make the car much better and better running for the initial owners.
To find out customer reaction to a future city runabout, Ford showed their Fiesta Orba concept car at Geneva. With ventilation filters to reduce traffic fumes and dust, with electronic sensors in the bumpers, front and back to make parking easier, with a temperature-controlled box in the boot to keep perishable food and other goods cold or hot, with only a driver's door on the offside so that passengers must get out on the curb for safety, with a high-security locking and alarm system and a burglar-proof safe in the fascia. Why does Ford concentrate so much on the small car market?
Ford's heritage is to be a small car builder. That was how we started out, was building cars for the masses. And in Europe, we're a major producer and plan to be that way. The Fiesta-sized cars represent upwards of 30% of the total European market. We have 5 million owners already out there that have driven Fiestas in the past, and we want to keep selling them and build our volume base, and most importantly, future owners for our other bigger and more profitable cars.
This is Ford's idea of the ideal sports car in the year 2000, the Ghia. With a computer-controlled spoiler for stability at high speeds, Italian coupe bodywork, 4 bucket seats, 4-wheel drive, a transverse V8 turbo for power. The glass roof takes off for open-air driving Targa style. Fiber optics control all the lights. A computer shows up any faults on a TV screen. The Ghia is not a styling study, it's fully practical. The underbody creates a positive downforce at speed. It could be made tomorrow. It confirms the Ford commitment to high performance. Of the 12 million new cars sold each year in Europe, 1.5 million are Japanese, and manufacturers like Daihatsu took advantage of the Geneva show to unveil the new models they hope will increase their share of the total European market to 25% in 6 or 7 years' time. X is an okay word for Japanese importers. Honda have the NSX, Mazda the MX-5, Nissan the 300ZX. Here, Daihatsu introduced their MS-X90. In some countries, it will be renamed the Applause. Hardly a catchy title, but the threat to Europe remains serious unless productivity here can be still further improved. Toyota showed their new high-tech clean burn engine for the Supra sports car. Honda's NSX sports car turned out to be a Ferrari lookalike. 3-litre V6 mid-engine with 4 overhead camshafts, all aluminium bodywork. Extensively tested by world champion Ayrton Senna, sales will start in Europe in the autumn of next year at a price said to be close to that of the Ferrari Mondial. Having dominated Grand Prix racing last season with McLaren, Honda are well placed to launch a flagship sports car in the luxury bracket. But as so often happens at motor shows, it was the girls, not the stunning technical features, that caught the camera's eye. Renault chose Switzerland for a major presentation of their new 19, the largest and fastest development project ever undertaken by the French state manufacturer. The Renault 19 was completed in less than 4 years from initial design at a cost of some $800 million. First reaction by road testers has been enthusiastic on the grounds of quietness and a very good ride. With an excellent profile from the Italian designer Giugiaro, no less than 8 engine and bodywork versions and a brand new assembly plant in northern France at Douai, the Renault 19 is a real challenge in Europe to Ford's Escort, Fiat's Tipo and VW's Golf. Britain sells only 3,000 cars a year to the Swiss, compared, say, with 130,000 from West Germany. But in value, its Aston Martins, Jaguars, Rolls-Royce and Land Rovers keep Britain just ahead of Spain in the Importers' League table. As you might expect, the Scandinavians do well in Switzerland with cars for a cold winter climate. But this year, Sweden's gimmick at Geneva was a human robot making friends and influencing people to buy Volvo. Fiat were the first to publicize their use of robots in assembly. At Geneva, they installed 4 of them to demonstrate some build techniques employed on the Tipo line. An exercise in precision. General Motors' influence in Europe is growing fast. At Opel in West Germany, their engineers have got together with the British sports car firm Lotus to develop this high-performance sedan capable of accelerating from 0 to 100 kph in under 6 seconds. It's called the Lotus Omega, 24-valve straight-six engine with 2 turbochargers, 6-speed gearbox, suspension by Lotus, tires by Goodyear. Lotus also helped to develop the 387 horsepower V8 engine for the new Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. This is the fastest sports coupe ever to come out of Detroit. For around $50,000, the new Corvette offers 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.2 seconds. Variable suspension, anti-lock braking, and European-style grip and handling with Goodyear's widest ever Eagle tires. The Corvette's 5.7-litre power unit is one of the very few 4-cam, 4 valves per cylinder V8s to be built anywhere outside motor racing. It's claimed to provide ultimate performance at the top end, yet a smooth, docile response with fuel economy and low emissions in city traffic. What does the man behind the car consider its chief attraction?
I think the most exciting part is the bandwidth of the whole project. That on the one hand, we have a car that you can drive around in traffic like this and not have it be abusive of you. And on the other hand, you can get out on the Autobahn and run almost 300 kilometers per hour.
Did McClellan ever think of turbocharging as an alternative to the traditional Corvette V8?
Well, we've looked at a number of alternatives as we worked this project into its first phase, and turbocharging the old engine was one of those options. Turbocharging a smaller engine was one of the options. But we really like the instant throttle response of the V8, and we know how to get the fuel economy out of a large V8 engine, so we felt we could meet all the emissions, fuel economy, and noise regulations that had to be met with a production engine and still get the kind of performance that we were after with this car.
How important was the choice of Goodyear rear tires speed rated to over 300 kph?
Well, Goodyear is our sole source for tires on the Corvette, and yes, we worked with them as they developed the 275 tire that's used all around on the standard Corvette, and this 315/35 was a special application tire just for the rear end of this car. In fact, all the bodywork in the car from the doors rearward is new because of the large size of the tires.
At Geneva, Audi showed their Goodyear shod Quattro competing in the US Sports Car Series. Higher on the performance scale, the new world champion racing driver Ayrton Senna put in a personal appearance. How did he view the influence of tire technology in racing today?
Of course, because you can, in 6-7 seconds, change 4 wheels and then go 2-3 seconds faster a lap. And normally, to get such a difference by an engine change or a suspension adjustment or aerodynamic adjustment, it takes years. You don't get 2-3 seconds just in an engine or in a suspension adjustment or aerodynamic. And in a tire, in 6-7 seconds, you can have 3 seconds a lap faster. So it makes a hell of a difference. And on the safety side, of course, how quickly you can stop also comes a lot from the tire quality, the tire grip. So it's one of the most important ingredients in a racing car.
Well, I've heard purchasing a set of tires described as an experience similar to going to your dentist. I think that the tire business and the car business, in a very great sense, are changing dramatically, in that rather than being the painful experience, for many it becomes quite an exciting experience in terms of purchasing tires for a performance-type vehicle or a highly specialized vehicle. And the market's becoming highly segmented. That part of the market is growing quite dramatically. And people are becoming more knowledgeable in what a tire can do for the performance, to enhance the performance of a vehicle. As we see more people participate as spectators in motorsports racing, as participants in rallying and amateur forms of racing, off-road racing, to a very large degree, their vehicle is an extension of their personality and becomes a hobby.
How does a double world champion from France see prospects for the Grand Prix season ahead?
We expect to be world champion again, that's for sure. I think the McLaren, Honda, with Goodyear tires should be again the winning team. But we also know that we have a lot of competitors, a lot of teams are much stronger than last year. And as I said, the technology is so good that we are also much quicker than we were last year.
Alain Prost spent some time touring the Geneva show, and two new cars in particular caught his eye.
I have to be honest, so I should run with a Honda car because I race with Honda, but I use also Mercedes. And what I like is I would like to find the best compromise, which is performance and comfort and safety. And I saw some very nice new cars like the new Mercedes Roadster. I was very impressed yesterday by for the first time I saw the new coupe, new sport car Honda. And if you have these kind of cars, I mean, you have no trouble.
The new Mercedes two-seater Roadster was, of course, the star of the 59th Geneva show. The SL, short for super light, comes with 3 or 5-litre engines and is packed with innovation, including the ability to work out its own suspension settings according to the road conditions and how it's being driven. On a motorway, it selects soft. Cornering on a twisty road, it chooses a firmer ride. Over 120 kph, it settles itself lower on its springs to improve road holding and reduce wind drag. Below 80 kph, the driver can lift the low-slung Roadster by 30 millimeters to clear obstacles like rocks or curbstones. To introduce their new convertible at Geneva, Mercedes-Benz invited the international motoring press to a party set among the Sauber-prepared cars it hopes will win the Group C Sports Car World Championship this year. Further proof, if needed, of the Stuttgart Group's growing attention to racing as an aid to sales and image. The Mercedes designer Bruno Sacco. 7 years of continuous research went into the evolution of an SL body shape that's fast, safe, aerodynamic, and attractive. Are Mercedes confident of a large enough market for sports cars capable of over 250 kph?
We do not aim at high speeds exceeding 250 kilometers per hour, as you know, because we want to restrict every car which is capable of more than 250 to that limit. And within that limit, I think this type of car has a great future because the fun is the acceleration power. And everybody who has ever felt this feeling to accelerate with such a car, he will not do without in the future.
The Roadster has a new version of the famous SL grille, still with a hint or two of the gull-wing coupe of the 1950s. Like that earlier flagship, the new SL embodies all the latest and the best in automotive technology. One striking feature is the rollover bar. Normally stowed with the hood, it springs into position if the car is in danger of overturning. Electronic sensors monitor the SL's attitude to the road, its acceleration, and the behavior of the suspension. And if the angle exceeds 26 degrees, the steel roll bar snaps into place in 0.3 seconds, less than the blink of an eye. To what extent has the lack of speed limits on West German autobahns helped to develop reliable high-performance cars like the SL?
We don't like to face a future which brings speed limits about. We think we can do without by better technology, by more education of people, and there is no sense why we should not go at high speeds if the traffic conditions admit it, and when the road or the autobahn is empty enough, in good weather conditions, of course.
The new Mercedes sports car will sell around the world at prices up to $100,000 and beyond. Who will the customers be, and where do Mercedes hope to find them?
We hope to attract our traditional SL drivers at first. The greatest market we are aiming at is, of course, the US market, where we are going to sell about, let's say, 60 to 70% of the new SL.
3 engines offer top speeds up to 250 kph. A limiter stops the top of the range 5-litre going any faster. It uses a 32-valve twin-cam head. Of all the technical assets embodied in their new Roadster, which does Mercedes-Benz believe to be the most significant?
The most significant characteristic of this car is a combination of power, of safety and comfort, all together built in an open two-seater, which is, as I think, the first time in the world that this has been done.
Que ce soit dans des virages serrés ou en ligne droite, le moteur de la nouvelle SL fournit la puissance et le châssis l'impassibilité. Le train avant à jambes amortissantes et le train arrière à géométrie spatiale assurent un confort optimal et une sécurité maximale. Une grande nouveauté, le système d'amortissement adaptatif ADS. Un système électronique calcule en quelques millisecondes le degré optimal d'amortissement momentané et le règle hydrauliquement. Correction et réglage de l'assiette à l'avant et à l'arrière abaisse automatiquement le véhicule à vitesse élevée et le relève à vitesse plus basse. Puissance et caractéristiques routières relèvent du domaine sportif. Mais selon Mercedes-Benz, priorité doit être accordée au confort et surtout